think about opportunity type, such as cross-sell versus upsell versus new business. Those are going to have very different assumptions and win rates, close rates, average selling prices, as opposed to think about different industries and, as I already mentioned, geographies. So those different dimensions will allow you to get really granular on what the specific goals are for each of those areas so that, again, everyone's working together in unison. Third, your assumptions should not necessarily be just equal to your prior year performance. Now, let's say your business is performing or has goals business as usual, right? You're not entering any new markets. You're not releasing a new product. At the very least, you might want to try to increase your average selling price or try to get a better conversion rate. So maybe put that into your assumptions for the model. But if you are releasing a new product to market, or you are entering a new industry or geography, right? You have to think about what your average selling price, what your conversion rate should be based on parallel markets, et cetera. And let's say your assumptions are pretty off, right? We'll jump ahead to point 5. You need to rerun this model every month or quarter based on your actuals. This is important because let's say in the first half of the year, you really under-deliver on what was expected in terms of your goal. If you continue with the same goals that you had set at the very beginning of the year, obviously there's a very low chance that you're actually going to hit your targets. So you got to rerun the assumptions, re-enter your revenue goals based on what you've already closed, and then see what your new goals are. And then fourth, we'll just touch on it pretty briefly. Conversion rates are a lot better to use than just simple win rates because based on the standard calculation of win rate, which is closed won bookings over closed won plus closed loss, it's not all that reliable because oftentimes sales will keep opportunities open a little bit longer than they should for whatever reason. And so win rates really looks at that progression down the funnel. So don't want to overwhelm you, but I'm going to show you the difference. So this is a very simple example. Let's say your revenue target is $1 million, your MQL to customer win rate is 15%, and your average selling price is $11,000. Doing some math, I did it in Excel, just trust me on it. That means you have to generate 606 MQLs. Now pivoting, right? Let's say that revenue target is still $1 million, but you've identified that 40% is coming from marketing originated efforts. Then breaking down new business versus cross sells, 75% of your revenue is coming from new business, 25% from cross sells. So those assumptions are going to be very different, right? You're going to see much higher conversion rates for cross sells, maybe a lower average selling price. What this means is that you have very specific MQL, SAL, SQL win rate goals or win goals for each of these areas. Now, looking at this, these assumptions do actually add up in total to these averages. You are only supposed to generate necessarily 138 MQLs as opposed to that original 606. So put yourself in the marketer's shoes, right? If you have to generate 606 MQLs as opposed to 238, you're going to probably be delivering some less than great MQLs. Now, if you really narrow that focus, you can focus on the areas that really matter, where you see the higher conversions, et cetera, and sales will be happy with the quality of the leads you're giving them. So I know I ran through that really quickly, but I do have a white paper on that entire track that we walked through in much greater detail. So happy to provide that. So just drop in the chat if you want to access that white paper. I also have a very basic Excel spreadsheet walking you through, if you put in the various assumptions, what it means for your marketing funnel goals. It's not hard math, but it is nice to start from somewhere if you're not super familiar with running these kinds of models. So with that, I know I spoke quickly. We should have a few minutes, I think, Armando.
Yes, this was awesome, Liz. Thank you so much. Alisa is like, preach, clapping hand emoji, and then white paper, please. Which Taylor as well, white paper, please. I love it. I was digesting it was very, very much packed with insights, which was great. I think my TLDR here is one, do have a reverse waterfall model because some companies might not even have that. Number two, Rayson as well, +1. Thomas wants both, right? The other key takeaway from my point of view, if you go back to that in practice slide for a second, if you don't mind. So is like introducing the concept that marketing shouldn't be responsible for like everything from pipeline generation is also interesting to me, because by and large, I think most C-level, most leaderships at most companies will kind of think that or like say that. And the reality is that is not entirely true, actually, right? Because like there are different sources. One of the things that you didn't mention is if you have a product-led motion, right? There is sales assist, there is marketing-led, there is product-led, there is partner-led. So different type of motions can contribute to a growth and revenue objective in equally important ways, right? And the other takeaway from my point of view, oh my God, I'm seeing like so many people asking for the stuff that you were offering. So
amazing.
I cannot even count them anymore. So we'll put them in the chat, Cecilia, if you don't mind taking care of that. And also you will be able to listen into the recording of the conversation, get access to the presentation. So you will have all those resources. The other thing that I'm thinking, going through your more detailed model, is really like the basic observation of putting yourself and the marketing team in a position to succeed. Mm-hmm. Right? Like doing the homework to actually get there in a more data-rich, data-informed way so that you can articulate, sustain that proposition to the rest of the organization, and you can rally everyone behind it and align them on it.
Totally agreed. And it works. It really does. And again, this really does elevate the marketing position because you can point to what your assumptions are. You can point to the actuals and really demonstrate to leadership. Marketing does focus on the revenue. We're not just a top of the funnel pipeline generator, right?
Right. Love it. Well, Liz, thank you so much. If you have questions, you can reach out to Liz over LinkedIn. I'm sure she will be able to engage. And thank you for watching, everyone. Let Liz know how their session was with the quick survey that Cecilia is going to put in the chat right now. There it goes. So do that. Feedback is super important. Liz, thank you so much. This was awesome.